Hey.
That was me, and then you go.
It is you. I like that up.
Hey everyone, Chief Van Officer here for Wayfarer Vans.
And I'm Andy, Chief Storyteller with Wayfarer Vans.
We're here in Colorado Springs, our home base for Wayfarer Vans. We're here with the vans in a great outdoor park. We got Goal Zero, Dometic, and what are we gonna be cooking today?
Yeah, so we're here cooking one of my favorite campsite recipes, Wonderpot. Wonderpot is a really simple dish to make. It uses only a few ingredients, only one of which has to be refrigerated. It's pretty healthy, it's easy to store when you're done, and it doesn't take very long to make. So let's get cooking.
Yeah, chop it up. All right, y'all, can you bring us the trash?
So you can use dried or powdered garlic for this. I certainly prefer fresh garlic. I think it, one, smells great, tastes great. It's also fun to cut up, and it's easy to carry with you. Just have a bulb of garlic in the van, hanging out with some of the other veggies. And all we're gonna be doing, essentially, is dicing up our onion, chopping up some fresh garlic, and then throwing that into the pot we've got here, along with 2 cans of diced tomatoes, some oregano, salt and pepper, 3 cups of spinach that we're gonna chop up a little bit, and 32 ounces of chicken broth. And last but not least, 1 package of spaghetti. One of the other added benefits of this dish from the spaghetti standpoint is you can use whatever kind of spaghetti you want. You can use egg noodles, you can use regular spaghetti, really any kind of pasta will work just fine.
Is it kind of like just a spaghetti marinara, like?
Pretty much. So we're making spaghetti.
But it's got like chicken broth, chicken stock.
Chicken broth, we're adding some fiber with the onions, with the spinach.
Yeah.
And then we're adding just some additional seasoning.
Like a noodle stew type thing?
A noodle stew, yeah. A pot of wonder.
Now, can any onion work, or do you specifically use a yellow onion?
I've used a yellow onion and a white onion. Either works fine. A red onion might, but I haven't actually tried it. Most of the Wonderpot recipes you'll come across online call for a yellow onion.
So do you and your wife, I suppose, they cook this often?
We do. We make it at home sometimes. We love to make it while we're camping. It's a great dish to make when you've got a number of people with you, because it'll feed probably 6 to 8 people, depending on how hungry they are, how much they eat. But great for camp after a long day of hiking, mountain biking, skiing.
Do you prep all your meals and like have them ready to go in the van, or do you like to cook on site?
I like to cook on site, although a lot of times we will prep things like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
As you can see, we've got a little bit of wind pickup here. That can of course make things challenging. And if you're winter camping, you're in the van, you want to save space, it's oftentimes a lot easier to just bust everything out, throw it right into the stovetop.
Yeah.
All right, we are getting close. If you want, go ahead. We can get the tomatoes in there. get some seasonings. And we, my friends, will be off to the races.
Spaghetti, or is that, wait.
We can toss that in.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So essentially,
We're
gonna cover everything with broth. The spaghetti is gonna cook in the broth with everything else and absorb all of that.
Okay.
There will be no draining at the end of this recipe. We'll literally just dive right in.
Nice, all right.
We're gonna do a little bit olive oil. Yep,
And all this?
The entire thing.
Just one carton, which is 32 ounces?
32 ounces.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Now what I always think about too, about like camp cooking is cleanup. So like minimal dishes and for prep, and then also minimal dishes afterwards for cleaning all up. So I like this. This is a lot like what I'm gonna cook for the group here. Yeah, it's like essentially just one cutting board, one knife, one pot. Hate, man, just like a big messy kitchen in the van. It's like, it just kind of defeats the purpose about camping and keeping it simple.
Yep,
Yeah.
keep it simple. That's where
Cool.
it's at. Last but not least, you can get some salt and pepper in there. I'm gonna load this bad boy up.
All right, you tell me when.
The salt. I like a lot of salt. Call that good. We can always add more later. And last but not least, some oregano leaves.
Okay.
You can also spice this up with basil leaves. Sometimes like to do a little cumin, paprika if you want it a little bit spicier, some cayenne pepper, but this is our kind of basic recipe.
Red pepper? Yeah, cayenne. Yeah.
Red pepper would do it, absolutely.
All right.
Little spice. All right, we got a camp spatula. We're gonna give everything in the pot now one good stir with the goal of getting our pasta covered with the chicken broth. Mix things up here a little bit. And this will boil down a little bit, so we don't have to worry about getting it perfect. All right, cover this up, head over to the cooktop. Awesome. So now Ian's gonna take us through a recipe that I know absolutely nothing about and have never had. So tell me more.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna cook like a North African dish, also Middle Eastern. It's called shakshuka.
Shakshuka.
Yeah, shakshuka.
Shakshuka.
Anyways, it's also tomato based. So tomatoes, we use whole tomatoes and then kind of crush them up. Smoked paprika, black pepper, cumin, chili powder, and then it's got red bell pepper, garlic, and you crack some eggs in there. And you kind of like put the lid on top, poach the eggs, and then that way you just have a nice simmer sauce with like a poached egg on it, and you have some naan bread. You just dip in there into the sauce and get it soak it all up, and you got a nice runny egg over the whole thing. It's just really tasty.
I was gonna say, it sounds simple and healthy and easy to make and easy to clean up.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about.
And a lot of fun to say.
And a lot of fun to say.
Shakshuka.
Shakshuka.
All right, cool. So we're gonna start off with just dicing or chopping the onions here.
Okay.
We'll get those in the pot with some olive oil. And then just kind of add the bell peppers in there too. Get those warmed up, and once the onions are translucent, then we add in all the rest of the ingredients.
Okay, perfect. Sounds pretty straightforward. Do they prefer a white onion on this one, or is that a personal preference?
Yeah, I think the ingredients just call for white onion, but really I think you could also do a sweet onion too.
How'd you find out about this recipe? Where'd you first have it?
I have a really pretentious story for it. My wife and I were over in Nepal, and we were at Pokhara, and we got to this place, and they went into this restaurant, and they had shakshuka on there. I'm like, what's shakshuka?
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty commonly known, and you don't have to go to Nepal to figure that out.
But you at least got to have the real deal in another country before making it yourself, which is...
Yeah, well, it's not even Nepalese. So it's all, Nepalese eat dal bhat.
Yeah.
Which is also probably a really good camping dish.
You guys keep going. I'm gonna hang out here.
All right, yeah, come join us.
All right.
Let's get that cooking. You can also, here's the bell peppers. We did some prep at home.
Okay. I like it.
So you can,
Whole thing?
Yep, just dump the whole thing in
Going
there.
in. Stir.
There you go.
Oh, the smell's already hitting me.
Yeah, I'm just crying over here. All right.
Beautiful.
Cool. Where'd our spatula go? Here we go.
There.
Oh, you already got it. Cool. All right, so we'll just let that cook down a little bit, just until the onions are translucent. And then you're gonna add all of our spices: smoked paprika, chili powder, cumin, and black pepper. We'll cook that with the onions just for another quick minute. Then we dump all of our tomatoes in there,
Okay.
and then probably simmer it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we crack the eggs in. All right, so you need 4 teaspoons of smoked paprika.
Okay.
You can actually add the garlic in there too.
Okay. Get some garlic going. Oh yeah.
Cool. 2 teaspoons of cumin.
2 cumins.
Yep.
2 cumins.
Get it. Yeah.
Oh
there you
yeah.
go.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
All right. A half a teaspoon of your chili powder.
Go.
Cool.
Beautiful.
All right, so we're gonna cook that down, stir it for just about a minute.
It's already smelling delicious. Beautiful.
Cool. So now these, we use whole tomatoes. You can do
Okay.
crushed too, because you're essentially just gonna pour it in there, kind of chop up the whole tomatoes a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, then you just let it simmer for about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Make the depression in the sauce with
Yeah.
like a spoon. Crack a few eggs in there, put the lid on, and you just kind of like poach the eggs.
Okay. Beautiful. Excited to see it all in action.
So let's add that in there. Turn up the heat a little bit too so we can get it simmering. Yeah, so I just kind of like chop the tomatoes up a little bit. All right, there we go.
Excellent.
Cool. We'll put a lid on it, let it simmer, and then we'll be set. Cool. This is also, by the way, the stove that we use in our van, or that I use in my van. Packs up really well. I like the single burner. Again, just like kind of narrowing in my philosophy on simple recipes, minimal dishes.
Yeah.
Just makes it nice and easy. And then this can cook up a lot of like leftovers too. So if you're traveling in the van, you can just dish it up. It saves you a lot of time. You know, my wife and I like to hike a lot, so we'll be out hiking in the day or mountain biking or whatever. And sometimes those days are long. We get back to the van. It's just nice to have leftovers that you just scoop it in the pot and warm up and just be done with it.
That's awesome. And I'm gonna assume this fits underneath of the galley.
Yep, so there's a couple different compartment spaces that the single burner stove fits in. Either like the compartment or the sink compartment, or just kind of like the little cubby right next to the sink too.
Yeah.
It's just like nice and compact. Yeah.
That's awesome. Versatility, simplicity.
Yep, cool.
Love it. All right, cool. So we've let this come to a boil, then turned it down to a simmer. It simmered for about 20 minutes. And now we've got a nice looking pot
Ooh, nice.
of pasta, onions, tomatoes, spinach, along with a whole bunch of seasonings. You can see that most of the chicken broth we use has evaporated, or it's been both evaporated and absorbed by the pasta. And now we have our Wonderpot.
Nice.
Last thing you can do once you dish it up, throw some grated cheese on there, salt and pepper, maybe a little hot sauce, whatever you like to do to flavor your dish. You can do to Wonderpot. It is ready to be customized.
Wonderpot.
Wonderpot. It's looking good.
Yep, okay. So now, what we do, that's kind of all broken up in there. So we'll take some eggs here. Where's the nice hearts there? I'm just gonna drop them
Oh
in.
yeah, all right.
Yep. So kind of a couple. Now, I mean, you can let them cook all the way through if you want, but I like mine a little bit runny, just to kind of mix up, make the sauce a little more like buttery. You know?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, it's fantastic already. And all the things I've cooked, I've never thrown eggs into a boiling pot of anything that I can think of.
Kind of lost count now.
Now you said something about, do we cover that?
Yeah, cover it,
Just cover it back up?
and then we let it sit for another like couple minutes. And again, like how runny do you want your egg?
Right.
And so a couple minutes, I feel. And then you like kind of scoop it out with a big spoon.
Okay.
So you get the egg and a bunch of the sauce together
Yeah.
on a plate, and then you serve it up with some naan bread.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Can't wait. It's looking awesome.
Cool.